Bad news for Ethiopian Prime Minister. He is in trouble. He is concerned about nexus between groups and countries in case of war in Ethiopia, war from the north, and he's been trying to get assurances from some countries, but it seems that no one is ready to give him assurance. He seems to be on his own, isolated. What happened? To which country did he send a delegation, and what did that country say in response? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for watching my views and news. Good to be with you. If you remember, in June last month, at the start of June last month, Ethiopian PM sent a delegation to Sudan. Ridwan Hussein, the head of Ethiopian intelligence agency, and Getachew Reda, Ethiopian PM's advisor, state minister for East Africa affairs, they went to Sudan. They went to Port Sudan. And there they met with Al Burhan, Sudanese military chief. In Sudan, I've been suffering from cold and flu, so my talk might not be as smooth as it used to be. So I apologize for that. So the Prime Minister sent a delegation to Port Sudan. In Sudan, we know that for the last 2 years, a war has been ongoing between Sudanese military, led by Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, and rapid support forces, led by Hamdan Dagalo. Ethiopian Prime Minister's government is in alliance with UAE, and UAE is actively backing rapid support forces. Ethiopia claims to be neutral, but Sudanese military of Al-Burhan does not see Ethiopia as neutral. Eritrea, on the other side, from day one, has been supporting Sudanese military. Sudanese military a few weeks ago relocated its military planes to Asmara when Port Sudan came under drone strikes. That shows the level of closeness between Eritrea and Sudanese military. Ethiopian PM sent a delegation to Al Burhan to get some assurances from Al Burhan. By the way, I did a video in the first week of June about this visit. You can watch that video. I mentioned in that video that this is what Ethiopia, I mentioned in that video what Ethiopia wanted from Sudan. And now it is being reported by several sources. Sources close to the Ethiopian Prime Minister are confirming what I reported around 2 months ago. I told you about the concerns shared by Ridwan and Getachew with Al Burhan. Now, sources close to the Prime Minister confirming. What did Ridwan and Getachew ask Al Burhan, the military chief of Sudan, to do? And what was the response from the military chief? Firstly, the Ethiopian delegation raised the question of the presence of Ethiopian armed groups on Sudanese soil. Tigray fighters operating there. Tigray fighters have been part of the war in Sudan. They've been supporting Al Burhan. They've been seen. I have done videos. I have shown you videos of Tigray fighters participating in Sudan's civil war. It's not a secret. Everyone knows that. And if you remember, once a rapid support force accused TPLF of supporting Al Burhan. So Tigray fighters have been supporting Al Burhan government, and Tigray fighters are operating in Sudan. They are being organized, armed for likely attack on Volkite. Ola has also been using Sudanese soil for years. Many Shangal Gomaz region based some groups have also been using Sudanese soil. Himad fighters have been based in Sudan for years too. They have support of Tigray fighters too. And new entries, Fano fighters, they have managed to gain access to Sudanese border. So they are also now uh, in a position to receive support logistics through Sudan. Ridwan and Getachew asked Al Burhan to put an end to the presence of Ethiopian opposition armed groups on Sudanese soil. What was Al Burhan's reply? He said these groups, especially Tigray fighters, are supporting us. He said Tigray fighters supported us in the war while you were sending messages of goodwill for the rapid support force. They supported us, firstly. The next question raised by the Ethiopian delegation was about Eritrea. Ethiopian delegation said that Eritrean intelligence agency is operating in Sudan, Ethiopia border areas. Eritrea is backing militias and tribes in eastern Sudan. Eritrea is preparing to wage war on Ethiopia in alliance with Ethiopian opposition groups like Tigray fighters, Fano, Ola, etc. That is why the Sudanese military must ensure that, first of all, its soil is not used by Eritrea for any activities against Ethiopia. And secondly, uh, ideally, Ethiopian government would like Al Burhan to support Ethiopian government in case of war. But if the military, Sudanese military cannot support Ethiopian government in case of Eritrea-Ethiopia war, at least it should be neutral. It should ensure that its soil, its weapons, its tribes, its military are not used by Eritrea against Ethiopia. What did Al Burhan say? Sudanese military chief. The military chief of Sudan refused to give any assurance to the Ethiopian delegation. That is what I'm saying. This is a really bad news for the Ethiopian PM. I mentioned that 2 months ago, what Ethiopian delegation said to Al Burhan. Now we have got confirmation about what Al Burhan replied to the Ethiopian delegation. He refused to support Ethiopia and he refused to be neutral as well. By the way, how can Al Burhan stay neutral? Who is supporting Al Burhan now? Eritrea. Tigray fighters. Eritrea sent its navy. It is training thousands of Sudanese fighters, militia members who are fighting on Al Burhan's side against RSF. So if Eritrea requests support from Al Burhan, will Al Burhan say no? I don't think so. Al Burhan will have to support Eritrea because Eritrea has immense influence in eastern Sudan. I mean, Eritrea can use Sudanese groups against Al Burhan if Al Burhan refuses to support Eritrea in case of war against Ethiopia. Eritrea can easily mobilize tribes in eastern Sudan against Al Burhan government. Al Burhan won't be able to withstand this operation by eastern Sudan based groups and RSF from western Sudan. So, Al Burhan can easily be blackmailed, coerced by Eritrea if it does not agree to support Eritrea. I think he'll support Eritrea, but if it does not, even then Eritrea can coerce him into supporting Eritrea against Ethiopia. So Abiy is facing isolation. RSF fighters, they are supportive of Ethiopian government, but they're not. They're nowhere close to Ethiopian border. They managed to reach Ethiopian border a few months ago, but then Sudan military pushed them away from Ethiopian border. It means Ethiopia cannot receive any support from Sudan by RSF. RSF no border connection with Ethiopia. Uh, Abiy knows very well that he is on his own. That is why he's trying to uh, ensure that war does not break out now. That if that it's postponed, if it's the right word. He wants to crush TPLF. He's not happy with TPLF Eritrea allies. He wants to crush Fano too. But he knows that all of them are uniting. Al Burhan, Avuki, Bratzian, Tigray military, Fano, Ola, everyone uniting. Kemats, maybe ONLF too. All that, if it happens, if this alliance emerges, Abiy will be in a difficult position. That is why he is trying to internationalize the issue, launching diplomatic campaigns, writing letters to the US, to the UN, asking them to intervene, asking elders to intervene. He wants to buy time. Elders have visited Tigray for the second time in a month at the request of Ethiopian PM. He wants to buy time. What will TPLF, Tigray military, Eritrea, and Fano do? Will they strike Abiy preemptively? Will they seek the path of negotiations? Will they wait for Abiy to strike? All that remains to be seen. Thanks for watching.